Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Draft Room. This is the NFL Draft Podcast of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-561-3243. Call in with any prospects you like, et cetera, whatever, NFL Draft related. So today we're going to continue on. We've got a bunch of pro days that have happened. We're going to use Pauline here just because he kind of put together some stuff as a jumping off point, but then we'll obviously go a little bit deeper. And then in section 2, we will select one of the guys that we talked about, highlight him a little bit deeper, and we'll go from there. So the pro days today, we have Kentucky, we have Kansas, we have Wyoming, and we have USC. So anywho, without further ado, Kentucky Pro Day was on March 11th. It was at Nutter Field House indoor facility in Lexington. About 15 to 20 Wildcats participated in front of scouts from nearly every NFL team, where there was an especially heavy turnout in offensive line coaches. At least 5 teams had their offensive line coaches present, including the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Ravens, and the Chargers. The day focused heavily on the interior offensive line group and skill position athletes. One of the main prospects is Jaeger Burton, interior offensive lineman, center out of Kentucky, 6'4", 312 pounds. He's a local Lexington, Kentucky guy, redshirt senior, started all 12 games at center in 2025 after previous experience at guard. Became Kentucky's highest-graded offensive lineman via PFF pass block grade in the high 70s with 47 career starts overall. At the Combine, he posted a 4.94 40-yard dash, which was 6th best among all interior linemen and blockers, and one of the highest RAS scores for centers in recent years. At the Pro Day, he stood on his Combine numbers, but significantly improved several others, including his vert of 30.5 inches, broad of 9.7, bench 28 reps, short shuttle 4.45. He apparently looked terrific in his position drills. The Baltimore Ravens are the team that appear very interested. Nearly every center-needy team has already scheduled a private workout or official top 30 visit. The Cowboys, Falcons, and Chargers offensive line coaches were on hand evaluating him closely. His stock has apparently risen very sharply from a possible priority free agent into solid day 3 projection, likely rounds 4 through 6, seen as a versatile athletic center/guard with immediate starter potential in zone schemes. He's at 198 on the consensus board right now, which is, what is that, 6th round, maybe, something like that? I got to get that right with the numbers on the rounds are. When the later ones are gets more difficult. But yeah, in that range. Second, Kendrick Law, wide receiver, about 6 foot 203. He's actually very similar on the consensus board. Actually, a lot of these guys are. He's at 182. Seth McGowan, the running back, is at 190. Jaeger Burton at 198. So there's several Kentucky guys right in that range. But Kendrick Law at 182, arguably the most popular and sought-after player at the entire pro day. Did not fully drill at the Combine, so he received extensive work in Lexington, running routes extensively, and even participating in some running back drills to showcase his gadget slot versatility and speed. Combine marks he stood on or reinforced his 4.45 40, 42-inch vert. Pro Day helped solidify his athletic profile and route running polish, projected as a strong day 3 candidate with upside as a returner and as a slot receiver. A couple other notable guys, Jalen Farmer, the offensive guard. He's actually even higher on the consensus board. He's at 100, so we're talking potential third-round guy here for Jalen Farmer, another interior offensive line guy, again a guard. Veteran guard transferred from Florida, significant SEC starting experience, tested well at the Combine, continued to impress at the Pro Day, remains a solid mid-round prospect. PFF has him ranked 83rd. Then there's Seth McGowan, the running back that I just mentioned. He turned heads at the Combine with one of the most explosive vertical jumps in recent memory, a 42.5. He stood on most of his numbers at the Pro Day, but showed well in his position work. remains a day 3 type of guy. Then there's Josh Braun. He is more than likely a UDFA. He's at 353 on the consensus board. Another interior offensive lineman. You can see why the offensive line coaches all showed up. Multi-year SEC starter, transferred from Florida and Arkansas. Good size and length. Solid performance, kept him firmly in the day 3 mix. PFF has him ranked 255. And then defensive lineman David Gusta. I know we've talked about him. I can't remember how to pronounce it, if it's Gusta or Gusta. I think I have it on my big board. I do have a pronunciation thing on my board, so that'll kind of, as I go through with names like this, I'll add the pronunciation. So if you're a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. Link is in the description. You'll have access to that. Unfortunately, if your brain is as bad as mine, you only will know how to pronounce it if you're looking directly at it. He's actually at 370, so I don't know what would have prompted us to look at him already, but very much a UDFA prospect. Dave Gusta and several other players also participated, giving scouts a complete look of their 2025 roster. We got the Kansas up next with actually a little bit of Packers news for once, so that's exciting, assuming most of the audience is still Packer fans. But Kansas Pro Day, also March 11th, held at Anderson Football Complex in Lawrence, Kansas. 23 Jayhawks participated in front of scouts from all 32 teams, one of the strongest turnouts of the Pro Day cycle. Several combine attendees returned for additional testing and positional work. The marquee prospect here is Emmanuel Henderson Jr., 6'1", 186-pound wide receiver. Kind of crazy because on the consensus board, although he is rising, he's at about 350. So he is still, we're talking UDFA territory. Alabama transfer who exploded in 2025 as Jalen Daniels' top target and dynamic return specialist. He led Kansas with 45 receptions and 766 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also earned first team All Big 12 as a kick returner. This is an important note for those looking for returners. Averaged 25.3 yards per return, 94-yard touchdown return. Third team All Big 12 as a receiver. His stock has climbed rapidly since the season. Currently PFF 331, so similarly UDFA. But again, we'll see if he ends up continuing to rise. He may be one of those guys that's the NFL views as a day 3 pick, and the media hasn't caught on yet. At the Pro Day, added excellent agility testing. His short shuttle was 4.17, 3-cone of 7.21. Caught the ball exceptionally well, looked explosive and fluid in position drills. Also asked to field punts at the end of workout, further showcasing his return ability. Teams interested. Minnesota Vikings and Jacksonville Jaguars showed significant interest, viewed as a big play threat with immediate slot and special teams value. Next up is a guy with the last name of Kamara, but not the one that we've talked about already, Makai Kamara. This is actually Bengali Kamara. He's at 630 on the consensus board, so according to the consensus board, he's probably not even getting picked up as a UDFA. But again, the important thing about these kinds of notes is some guys are getting picked up that you haven't heard of. This is somebody to pay attention to. He is a linebacker / outside linebacker at 6'2", 223. So pretty small, even for an off-ball linebacker. Certainly too small for an edge rusher. Multi-transfer from Pittsburgh, South Carolina, who started at weak side linebacker in 2025. Undersized but explosive one-gap penetrator with strong athletic upside. He ran as fast as 4.62 seconds in the 40-yard dash. His official was 4.68 to 4.7. I don't know how it's official if it's not a real number, but whatever. Posted 19 reps on the bench, 10-1 broad jump, and 30.5-inch vert. He unfortunately tweaked his hamstring while running the 40 and was unable to participate in position drills. That could really hurt him because sometimes those are minor. Sometimes it's like he may not be ready. And if guys are bringing you on to see if you can make the, if they're going to use a 90-man roster spot, they're not going to use it on a guy that can't participate. So he hopefully is going to be okay and be ready to participate in training camp, or he just won't be picked up. Outlook, projected as a priority undrafted free agent with immediate practice squad and special teams upside due to his speed and athleticism. The teams that are interested: Denver Broncos, New York Jets, and Green Bay Packers. And to the best of my knowledge, not only is he not related to Alvin Kamara, he's also not related to Mikhail Kamara in this draft class. Don't know that for sure. Maybe second, third cousins or something. I don't know. But as far as I know, there's no relation between the three of them. A couple other notables. Kobe Baines is another guy that's, well outside the UDFA range at 372. He's actually on PFF Sport at 192, though, so a pretty massive discrepancy there. One of Kansas's highest-rated prospects overall, tested well, drew follow-up interest from interior offensive line-needy teams. Jalen Daniels, obviously. I'm guessing a lot of teams had eyes on him. Enrique Cruz. Also, Laith Marjan is their kicker. He apparently impressed with consistent long-range field goals of 50+. They also had running backs Daniel Hishaw Jr. and LaShawn Williams, plus several other linemen and defensive players also participated and left scouts with positive notes. All right, and then moving on to Wyoming, another March 11th indoor practice facility, high-altitude performance center at Laramie, Wyoming. Approximately 19 Cowboys participated in front of representatives from 18 to 20 NFL teams. Strong scout-heavy turnout for the Mountain West program. The day focused heavily on tight end and offensive line evaluation, with the primary marquee prospect being John Michael Gillenborg, the tight end, who is 6'6", 250 pounds. He is right now on the consensus board at 205, so you're talking day 3 prospect. Wyoming walk-on turned starter, Senior Bowl participant who caught a pass in the game and earned all combine team recognition in Indianapolis. Career totals, 80 receptions, 1,023 yards, 7 touchdowns. 2025 season was limited by injuries, 24 receptions, 217 yards, and a touchdown. NFL Combine, he stood on nearly all his numbers, which is 460-second 40-yard dash, 35.5-inch vert, elite 10.8 broad jump, outstanding 4.22 second shuttle, one of the top marks among tight ends. Pro Day did not retest most numbers, but looked exceptional catching the football, smooth routes, reliable hands, strong body control, fluid movement in position drills. Scouts came away impressed with his receiving polish. Apparently drawing interest from the San Francisco 49ers, who had front office personnel on hand specifically to evaluate him. Another example of the franchise targeting athletic move tight ends at pro days. Other tight end needy teams present and showing interest include the New Orleans Saints, Denver Broncos, Miami Dolphins, and Washington Commanders. Rising day 3 prospect with traits to develop into a receiving specialist and immediate special teams contributor. Another guy, Caden Barnett. Hold on a second. Yes, Barnett. Caden Barnett, 243, so another possible 7th-round pick. Offensive guard, 6'5", 316, was a standout performer at his pro day. Senior interior offensive lineman, primarily a right guard. Extensive starting experience. Impressed during the East-West Shrine Bowl practices earlier in the year. At the pro day, he was not invited to the combine, so he did a lot of the testing. 40-yard dash of 5.03 with a 1.73 10-yard split. His vert was 31 inches, broad of 8.9. Short shuttle 4.63, which is good agility for a 316-pound guy. Looked terrific in position drills with powerful hand usage, strong punch, good movement. He met with the New Orleans Saints on Tuesday prior to his pro day. Additional interior line needy teams showed follow-up interest. PFF has him at 289, projected as a late round or priority UDFA. Couple other notables. Center Jack Walsh is a veteran interior lineman who drew some attention from offensive line coaches. Linebacker Braden Johnson and Evan Eller, and defensive end Chisholm Ifenyi participated and received positive notes. Safety Javon Davis and skill players, lots of them also worked out, giving scouts a full look at the roster. And then finally, USC. Obviously, you got Makai Lemon there, so you got some pretty heavy hitters. This was held on March 12th on USC campus in Los Angeles, Howard Jones Field. Nearly 50 scouts from all 32 NFL teams were present, one of the strongest turnouts of the pro day cycle. The day was almost exclusively focused on skill players, especially wide receiver group, with several coaches and GMs, including Rams GM Les Snead, makes sense, it's in his backyard. Makai Lemon, obviously, again, the top guy here, 5'11", 192, junior breakout star, clear headliner, 79 receptions for 1,156 yards, 11 touchdowns, 14.6 yards per attempt, won the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver, earned unanimous first-team All-American honors, posted elite PFF grades 91+, much bigger than his size, outstanding contested catch ability, won 10 of 15 in 2025, yak toughness, route running polish, all that stuff. Didn't do athletic stuff at the NFL Combine, only measured in at 30.5-inch arms, 8 3/4 hands, 73.25 wingspan. At the Pro Day, he ran a 40-yard dash for the first time publicly, clocked an official 4.46 second. Hand time reports range from 4.46 apparently to 4.53. Scouts described it as solid and right in the expected range. Speed is not how he wins, but it erased any questions. So it wasn't significantly slower or something that raises some red flags, so it was fine. Looked outstanding running routes, catching the ball, made a last-minute decision to participate in pass-catching drills, and shined. Scouts raved about his explosiveness, body control, and competitiveness. Pre-Pro Day buzz, already had 7 official top 30 visits scheduled, including the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, Washington Commanders, New Orleans Saints, Miami Dolphins, LA Rams, and others. Met with the New York Giants on site after the workout. Teams interested, as well as some draft buzz. Tony Pauline mocked him to the Rams at 13 overall in his recent mock draft. Multiple GMs called him a top 15 talent. Daniel Jeremiah ranks him as high as number 11 overall. Consensus first-round lock, projected to go between, presumably 11, thanks to Daniel Jeremiah, and 20, with immediate slot or possibly upside versatility and star potential. The other wide receiver, Jacoby Lane, out of USC, ranked at 104 right now, so we're talking mid-round prospect. Impressed as the second option with strong testing and route work. He had 49 catches, 745 yards, 4 touchdowns in 2025. He drew some follow-up interest from teams like the Rams. Some additional participants included tight end Anthony Lucas, defensive end Lake McCree, and several offensive linemen, but the wide receiver group, led by Lemon, stole the show. All right, we'll take a break. I will look through some of these. I have one in mind already, but we'll highlight one of these guys on the other end of this. We'll be right back. All right, why don't we highlight Mr. Jaeger Burton, which actually apparently is Jagger, not Jaeger like Jaeger bombs. It's Jagger like Mick Jagger. Okay, fair enough. 6'4", 323. Real quick, looking at his PFF, 5 years at Kentucky. Pass blocking grades are interesting. It went up every single year. 20 pass blocking grade in his rookie year, then a 49, which is bad, but a big jump. Then 61, average, big jump. Then 70, another big jump. And then 80 in 2025. His run blocking grades were pretty much bad, but also, again, kind of straight up, at least the last 3 years, 46, 57, and 68. If you look at his last year, that was a dominant last year. Prior to that, he just was never really a great football player, but he seems to have figured it out. Kind of depends, how much you want to look at. Yeah, but it was just his last year. He's probably a little bit older, et cetera, whatever. It's up to you to kind of figure out how you want to interpret that, I suppose. But 4-star offensive lineman, number 1 prospect in Kentucky per 24/7 and Rivals, top 10 National Guard ranking from ESPN, won the 2020 Paul Hornung Award as Kentucky's top high school player, only the 3rd offensive lineman ever. Shared AP Co. Mr. Football honors as a senior, earned All-American All-American Bowl, and first-team All-State nods while helping Frederick Douglass reach the state semifinals. A two-way star as a tackle/defensive end. He spurned Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Oregon to stay home as a mid-year enrollee in 2021. Kentucky's most decorated in-state offensive line recruit in years. Burton's loyalty and pedigree screamed immediate impact. However, redshirted in 2021 before exploding onto the scene with 13 starts at left guard in 2022. He earned freshman All-SEC honors from the coaches, the first UK offensive lineman to do so since 2016. He flipped between center and right guard in 23 and 24, missing just 3 games total to injury, then locked in at center for 12 starts in 2025, grading out at 98% assignment with minimal pressures allowed. Across 51 career games and 41 starts, he logged over 2,600 snaps with experience at every interior spot, a 3-time SEC academic honor roll pick and Dean's List student who graduated early in communications. Burton's also served as game captain multiple times in 25, a battle-tested scheme-versatile interior anchor. Let's see, what else? As we talked about, very, very impressive combine numbers. 4.9, 4.40, one of the fastest at the position. 1.76 10-yard split, 9.3 broad. Second in athleticism among centers and vaulting him into the top 150 conversation. He's also a Shrine Bowl standout, accepted his East-West Shrine Bowl invite, looked like one of the week's better interior linemen in practice, flashing the movement skills that matched his combine numbers. 2025 gave up 0 sacks as well as 0 hits. He did give up 12 hurries, but 0 sacks and 0 hits in the entire 2025 season. 817 snaps, 457 pass blocking snaps. Some of the strengths: explosive first step quickness, positional versatility, pass rush reliability, zone blocking, mobility, strong hands and combo execution, durable veteran presence. Some of the weaknesses: high pad level and leverage issues, limited redirect and range of move, vulnerable to length and two-gappers, average anchor when caught off balance. It's kind of odd because he's 323, but the description sounds like a, 295-pound athletic interior center type of guy, which I'm guessing is going to work to his advantage, because people are going to see him as a guy at 323 that can move like a guy that's 300 pounds, and they're going to say, I can coach up the big boy. I can teach him to use the size and the leverage and all that. I mean, he's upright. That's why he gets beat by some of the defensive tackles. We can teach him those things so that he can still be, you're not going to lose the athleticism. I just got to teach you how to use some of that power. So very intriguing prospect for that reason, a guy that can move as well as he can at the size that he is. Projected as a solid day 3 selection, kind of mid-round, who with legitimate starter upside in the right zone system. Best fit with teams running heavy outside zone and value athleticism and positional flexibility. Just a quick Packers note, this used to be a guy I would say is primed to be a Green Bay Packers offensive lineman or center. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I genuinely do. If they end up drafting him, it would probably be more to do with the fact that he's 323 than the fact that he's athletic, which annoys the crap out of me, but, it is what it is. Primary comp, Harry Critter, Indianapolis Colts free agent. Similar college path as a multi-year starter with positional flexibility, plus comparable testing, athleticism, and zone-friendly movement. Both reliable but scheme-dependent backups rather than alpha starters. It's an interesting note. Secondary comp, Nick Brahms, Auburn/NFL journeyman type. College comp matches on size, hand usage, zone quickness, etc., etc. No red flags. Burton boasts a spotless off-the-field record, strong academics, early graduate, multiple SEC honor roll, Dean's List, etc. Leadership traits, multiple game captain honors, clean profile through and through. The only injury stuff, he missed 2 games in 2024 because of a leg injury in week 2 versus South Carolina, specifically on a field goal block in the second quarter. Missed the next 2 games entirely, Georgia and Ohio. No real long-term durability issues expected from that. Okay, that's it. We're going to pack it in. Again, if you want to check these things out, give me a day or so to put these things into the actual draft guide, but everything we're talking about is going to be in there. The link is in the description if you want to check it out, or just go to NFLDraftGrades.com. You can build your own big board, do mock drafts, etc., etc. I would encourage you to do so. Any feedback you can provide would be greatly appreciated so I can make the site even better. You guys have a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.